Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays. I have to flip the microphone on. Audio should be good, even though mad people are complaining. That's okay. Some people will always complain. I wish you can see the gorgeous view behind me. It's just direct light into the camera, but you guys don't need to see me. So we are going straight to the charts. Hope everyone is having a decent day, considering with what Bitcoin is doing. Lori, thank you so much for your lovely comment. Hey, Tone, thank you for the long time input into blockchain world. Been watching you since 2016. That is impressive. 16 is impressive. I did not even start this YouTube channel until late 2016. And I was on the World Crypto Network before that. Shout out to the World Crypto Network that got a lot of us a really good start. Audio is muffled. Huh. Oh boy, do I have time to change my lights? God damn it. I don't have a producer, guys, so this is what happens. All right, let me change mics. Let me use a $200 microphone system. All right, you guys will be happier. All right, I'm gonna turn on my Rhodes. Hopefully they have juice. They do have juice. All right, switching mics. All right, you sound Nazis. Stop complaining. All right, is this better? This better be better. Oh, I should get the magnet one. I have another one that has a magnet. This one has a magnet. All right. All right, is this better? Is it better? All right, it better be better. Otherwise, why am I spending all this money on audio equipment? So I should be using it if I'm spending all this money on audio equipment. Right? All right. All right, it's better now. All right, we're looking at the charts. Much better. Okay. All right, good. All right. Okay. Some people are saying no. Better or not? Better be better. Should be better. Okay. So here's a monthly chart. I glanced at the comments from yesterday's video. I normally don't do that because they're like full of scammers. Okay, so here's the deal, right? So in yesterday's video, I got to correct something. I mean, I don't have to correct. I have to correct the comment people. I said that I became a bear around $15,000 in January. This is a monthly candle, people. Monthly candle. Clearly, people were watching me back then, and they're still watching me. And I don't do revisionist history. I know when I went bearish, but I was using the monthly candle. If we use a weekly candle, I'll tell you exactly when I became a bear. I became a bear over here on this weekly candle. It was the week of Jan 8th. This is the week I became bearish. Not over here, not over here, over here. After the rebound proved to not break the new swing high. That's when I became bearish. Tyler Jenks became bearish over here because it broke phase 4. So Tyler Jenks had his phase 4 on hyperwave. It would look like this. This is where phase 4 began. And when phase 4 broke, I think it might have been like this. And when phase 4 broke, he became bearish. But we have to go to the daily chart of that area in order to really see. I have to use the go to button. And I have to go to December of 2018. Okay. So here's December 28 of 2018. Wait, what? Oh, it's 2017. That's why. wasn't 2018, it was 27. It was January 2018. Okay, so here. So Tyler James became bearish over here in December when phase 4 got broken. Okay, like this is phase 4. This is those 5 weeks. Like this was pretty much his phase 4. On a weekly scale, you break a bunch of the bodies, right? It was something like this on a weekly scale. So he became bearish up here around December 20th, 2021. I became bearish over here. And you see this in my videos, like the names of the videos. I even tweeted it out like day by day. I became a bear around here. It was around January 10th. So it was here, it was around $15,000. It was right there. It was when we got rejected and we were starting to break this moving average. So this is where I became bearish. Okay, but it was still January, right? Like this is also a candle in January. Well, these are, right? So that's where I became bearish. But I held through this. So that's the reality of it. I became bearish with this rejection, and like this candle kind of sealed the deal for me. Anyway, now let's go back to the current charts. The daily chart looks awful. It really does. But we're sitting right at support. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go back to the Consensio chart in a minute. But around the daily chart is when I try to promote the Unconfiscatable conference. So come and join us at Unconfiscatable in Las Vegas, March 3rd to 6th. Still plenty of time to register. Still plenty of room at the hotel, which is not very expensive. So come and join us at Unconfiscatable. I'm going to do the daily chart first, then I'm going to go to the weekly and the Consensio 4-day chart. So these arrows, I did not delete them for a reason. I really thought the bounce would come a little bit earlier. It came a few days later. I did expect the current situation, but yesterday, for example, I did expect us to reach the MRI top somewhere in the 52.5, 52.8 range, maybe as high as 53. I really thought we can get into that and get an MRI sell with a perfect rejection. We got very close to this trend line, and that's where we got rejected late last night. I warned everyone, as everyone was making fun of me, that I sold the bottom and I missed the rally. I'm like, stay patient, stay patient. The most important part of a trader or a poker player is patience. If you're not patient, you're not going to last very long as a trader. You got to stay patient. You can't panic. You can't FOMO in. You can't panic sell. You got to have a plan. And my plan was on the 4-day chart. And on the 4-day chart, I wanted a break of this line. That was the line that I've had on here for several days now. But I needed not just a break of this line by a penny. I needed to be convinced that the candle breaking this line will stay above the line. And the only way to, the best way, not the only way, but the best way to be convinced that the candle breaking this line, and the line was at 52,000. 52,000, maybe a little bit more, or just 52,000 to round it off. The best way to be convinced that the break of 52,000 is here to stay is if there is a lot less time in this candle to go than has passed. At the moment, this candle still has more than 2 days to go on a 4-day candle. So this candle is not even halfway over yet. So I needed the second half of this candle, like the second, like this candle needed to be like probably 2 days in, or the price had to be substantially higher. Like if the price was going above the next moving average in the first day of a 4-day candle, that's enough for me to be convinced that we're not going to go below 52. Like if we had broken 53, I'm then confident we're not going to go back down to 52. Can we still go back down to 52? Absolutely. But I have a lot more confidence that we will close above 52 if we're breaking 53. I know this sounds grossly obvious, but there is a lot of things that are grossly obvious that people just don't understand, like buying hex, for example, or any other scam that gets airdropped. Even though that one wasn't technically airdrop, but it kind of was. Anyway, doesn't matter. So there's lots of basic things that people just don't understand. And in this case, I was going to stay patient and wait for either enough time to go by, sitting above, just above 52, or enough price swing up to give me confidence that we're not going to fall back below 52. Neither of those things happened. We touched 52 for 30 seconds, and we started falling really, really hard. And that's why we maintained the cash position. I also drew this arrow several days ago. You can see where that arrow started, where I expected this 4-day chart to be rejected in this vicinity. It would be very, very interesting if we do end up falling down to that $45,000 area, just to get everyone pissed off completely, right? Like, the lower Bitcoin closes on December 31st, the worse it looks at year end. So what was the opening price for the year? So if we go to the opening candle, here's the January 1st candle right there. And what has Bitcoin done this year from a return perspective? Bitcoin is currently up, I can't see it, 68%. That's pretty good. But it was up 79% just 12 hours ago. That's a big difference. That's a big difference, guys. 80%, it was 79.5. It was up 80% just a few hours ago. And now it's only up 67. So what happens if Bitcoin closes in that $44,000 range? Bitcoin is only up 50% for the year. Only up 50% for the year. Still a good year, you know. I don't remember what Bitcoin did in 2020. We can go and take a look. Here's the monthly chart. How did Bitcoin perform in 2020 compared to 2021? Well, in the beginning of 2020, December 30th, here we go. So Bitcoin opens, okay, right there. So it's around there. And December 14, right there. December 7. Oh, it's still December 7. December 21, December 28, right there. Okay. Bitcoin was up 340% in the year 2020. That's a pretty good year. Of course, there was a big annihilation early in the year, but then it recovered. So in 2021, Bitcoin will only be up approximately 50 to 65%. Yeah, I could just do yearly candles here. I should have done the monthlies, not the weekly. It would have been a lot easier. Right, here's the January candle. Right. There it is. We're up 67. Yeah, I can do the yearlies as well. But I want to see it. I want to like see what happened during the year. Yeah, here's the January. So right, 300%. Bitcoin was up 300% last year. Oh, that's the January. Yeah, 300% last year, 50% this year. That's two pretty good years. Okay, it's two pretty good years. The monthly triangle still looking great. Still think we'll have a huge upswing. Obviously, we're not going to hit 100K this year. That's pretty average. All right. All right. Before I go on, guys, check this out. The Financial Summit website, we made a few changes. If you Google the Financial Summit, it's great. I'm usually at the top. Either the first non-ad link or the second non-ad link is the Financial Summit. If you click on it, check this out. If you click on the play button, you'll hear the audio, which is just music. So this was, these are just clips of the last one in Dubai. Or right outside Dubai, I should say. Short, like 40-second video. Really, really cool. All the people you see were at the summit, by the way. Like our own footage. Those are our rooms. Well, the last footage wasn't ours. We couldn't have a drone, so the hotel gave us that. The hotel gave us the little drone footage of the area. But yeah, so this is the next one in the Dominican Republic. There'll be awesome videos for that as well. All right, I see my name tag left and right. Looks like potential questions. Can you look at the head and shoulders pattern on the daily? Not really, because I don't care for head and shoulders. They're irrelevant to me. But maybe I'll look. What's your opinion that Bitcoin will go the way of gold eventually with paper offering and other legacy products, ETFs, whenever? No, I don't see it that way. Based on TA, do you think Bitcoin will be higher or lower 3 months from now? I think it will be significantly higher 3 months from now. I do not envision a bear market, guys. I still think it'll be way higher. And you can see it on my expectation here. I think it'll be way higher in Q1, okay? I think we are going to hit 100K in Q1. I'm very bullish in Q1. Now, as for Bitcoin being like gold, no, because you can actually use Bitcoin in commerce. You can't use gold in commerce. You can't. I'm sorry, you can't go back to 1880 before electricity. You just can't. Can't go back to before modern banking. Bitcoin will be used by banks to do business with each other. It will be used by, central banks. It will be used by governments, assuming we still have governments in 10 years, 20 years. Let's see. If they keep having these lockdowns, there's going to be some serious civil unrest. All right. Unconfiscatable, March 3rd to 6th, one more plug. All right, that's your daily chart. It's getting worse. Shit. Let's see a lower level time frame. I'm not that confident in this arrow anymore, by the way. And I'll tell you why I'm not that confident in this arrow. I'm actually going to remove it. I'm not going to remove it. I'll hold it, but I'm not that confident. The reason I'm not that confident is based on how nasty this current candle is. By the way, I'm very surprised the stock market is up. Very surprised. The reason I'm very surprised that the stock market is up, I should go to my Twitter. The reason I'm surprised the stock market is up so much is, oh, by the way, according to the World Bank, 100 million people were added into poverty in 2020. And they're actually applauding the fact that they estimated it would be 120 million new poor people, but it's only 100 million new poor people, like below the poverty line. Like it's like $2 a day kind of poverty line. And I don't think it got any better in 2021, by the way. I think it only got worse. And that's because of the lockdowns. It's not because of the pandemic. The pandemic did not put people into poverty. It didn't. It was the lockdowns. It was the lockdowns that did, not the pandemic. Okay. I don't want to sound insensitive, but had the government done nothing, and let the virus do its thing, kind of like 100, 200 years ago with other viruses before we had this ability to lock people down, which is still kind of embarrassing that they had this ability to lock people down. Had that happened, again, I don't want to sound insensitive, but the virus does kill the weak and the vulnerable and the elderly. I do believe that the virus is out there. I also believe that it got leaked out of a lab, whether purposely or by accident. I have no idea. But had the virus ran its course, with the only advice from government, wash your hands a little more often, maybe a little bit longer, but move on with your life, basically. Had that happened, yes, more people probably would have died this year. The excess deaths would have been higher in 2020, maybe a little bit in 2021. And the weak and the vulnerable probably would have had the brunt of deaths. But less people would have entered poverty, right? Because, yeah, I don't want to sound insensitive, but this is what put people into poverty, was the lockdowns, was the shutdown of businesses. Was the shutdown of businesses, right? If a weak elderly or a person that has bad health, a person with bad health is generally not someone that is running a massive business. You're in bad health. People that are people below the poverty line are generally, on average, in worse health than people above the poverty line. This is why people in developed countries are generally somewhat healthier than developing countries. Not always, but also, the horrible food, the obesity in America is pretty bad. I don't want to generalize too much, but slight average, right? And the more weak and vulnerable that would have suffered from the virus, unfortunately, would have been those that were already below the poverty. So this number probably would have been like, we would have dropped higher here, right? Like, this was their projection, how every year less and less people are below the poverty line. Had COVID ran its course without the lockdowns, this line probably would have dropped faster. It probably would have dropped faster because people still would have traveled, the tourism industry would have still been in there, and the healthier people that might have been below the poverty line would have been able to get above the poverty line, because the unhealthy people below the poverty line would have suffered from the virus. But instead, we had lockdowns, which created 97 million new people, right? So for the past several years, the number of people below the poverty line was declining, and now it grossly went up. And of course, guys like Bill Gates, where is it? And this is what happens, right? 100 million people get added into poverty, and that's last year. That's not even 2021, right? 2021, it was probably another 50 to 100 million added from the prior decade of having less and less people. Like, we were subtracting people that were below poverty. Now we added them. And this is what happens to Bill Gates's net worth. Look at that. Look at that. He's making more than $1 million for every person that gets added to be into poverty. Like, this is the guy that claims that vaccines are going to get people out of poverty. Like, this is what's frustrating. Like, right here, he's gloating. Where's that? Here. He's gloating that, $10 billion will add 200 billion worth of economic benefit. I'm going to get everyone above the poverty line by vaccinating them all. So here he is, vaccinating them all, earning an extra $25 billion. Well, he didn't make $1 million per person, but I don't know. It's horrible math, but he makes $50 billion sending 100 million people into poverty by lockdowns. Do the math, right? So you do 50 billion divided by 100 million. Technically, 51 billion divided by 97 million. And that's how much he made per person in 2020, sending them into poverty by advocating lockdowns. This is what's really frustrating. This is what's really frustrating. There he is, tweeting in December 2019, right before we found out about the virus. What's next for our foundation? I'm particularly excited about what the next year could mean for one of the best buys in global health, vaccines. Beautiful. That's the article. I quoted his tweet, so in case he gets erased. There it is. There it is. One more tweet. I really want to see what's happening with this poll, guys. I sent out a poll. Over 1,000 people voted, and Bill Gates is leading right there. Who do you see as the most evil unelected policy influencer and maker? Policy maker, policy influencer, unelected. And then someone said Joe Biden and Kamala, and I'm like, shit, they got me. I really should have had them on there because I specifically said unelected. But Gates is winning. I personally think it's Klaus Schwab. I would say Schwab, then Gates, then Fauci, but I don't want to influence the poll. They're all pretty bad. Yeah, it's got to be tens of thousands. I mean, we can do the math. We can do the math. I'm going to do the math. I'm going to do the math real quick. It's so it's 64 billion. So I'm going to say 51 billion. So I'll just say 51,000 instead of 51 billion divided by 97, which would be 97 million. There's just 3 zeros off, right? 525. All right. Wow, I really thought it'd be a higher number. I really expected that to be more. $1 billion, $1 billion, yeah. Making $500. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there goes my math degree, right? I do have I have 2 math degrees. You're making $500 for every person he gets put into poverty. But he's putting a lot of people into poverty. 97 million last year, plus at least 100 million this year, I bet you. All right, let's go back to price. Yeah, GBTC is down. Every time GBTC drops, the premium will drop. Every time it rises, the premium will rise. So once we get a nice FOMO wave, that premium can evaporate really quickly. Really quickly. Short-term chart, I haven't looked at that yet. We are dropping hard right now. Very hard. So this line was support. This was our support line. And we broke that support line. We had a little bit of a comeback last night. This is the 1-hour chart in the middle of the night, US time, 4 or 5 a.m. A little bit of a comeback, and boom, this is not a very good morning. Oh, wait, so here's how this conversation started. Why am I surprised that the stock market is up and not down? And this is why I went to Twitter in the first place, and I got distracted. So the reason is This is hilarious, by the way, though I could not find the actual article. But this is insane. Like, you can't make this shit up. This. So this. So this is the reason why I really expected the stock market to drop. Biden departs Delaware beach house after telling governors there is no federal solution on COVID and it should be solved at the state level. Again, him and Kamala both kept screaming how Trump doesn't have a COVID plan, but he does. And here we are, not even a year later, and he has no plan. So I think it's the right move. I think the right move is actually to do nothing from the federal level and let the states manage it as they like leave DeSantis alone, leave Newsom alone. If Newsom wants to build, a camp for anyone that sneezes, let Newsom do it. Everyone will just move out of California. It's fine. And if DeSantis doesn't want to do anything in regards to lockdowns, then that's fine too. Okay. This is what it's supposed to be. So Biden is actually doing what he's supposed to be doing. Finally, for the first time since he sat down in that chair. But when something like this happens, it makes the people lose confidence in their president. In this case, there wasn't any confidence in the current president anyway. But in general, stock market doesn't behave very well when confidence in the president is being lost. So, for example, if the president gets sick, or I'm actually kind of curious how the stock market did during the JFK assassination or the attempt on Reagan. I think there was an attempt on Reagan. So when a country potentially is viewed as being leaderless, that tends to spook the market. So based on this headline that broke last night, I'm very surprised the stock market is not down. And the only expectation and the only explanation I have as to why the stock market didn't crash when it usually does when there is a gap in leadership is that because there has been a gap in leadership since, well, January 6th, pretty much. And that could be my only explanation as to why the stock market didn't fall. But I really expected it to fall based on the fact that the president just said, screw you, I'm not doing it. Basically what that picture with, is it Cartman? I really should be watching South Park. But I was never into South Park. I don't know why. Every episode I've seen has been funny. I've seen a few, but I was never like a South Park viewer. But it's perfect. Hey guys, and if you haven't seen this yet, Mass Psychosis, you have to watch this video. It's going to be in my video descriptions probably for all of 2022. It's the only way to get out of this current mess is by understanding what's going on. And it's hard to understand what's going on until you watch this video, especially if you've been, well, anyway, I don't want to say certain words, but watch the video. All right, probably a million comments. Man, do I have any moderators that can send me stuff that's good in the comments? How are my moderators doing? Let me see the comment. Why are people so curious about my medical stats? Why? Why are you curious about my medical stats? Why don't you ask me how much I weigh? I mean, I sent out this tweet earlier today. I want to start carrying these cards, right? Only replace the word weight with the word vaccine. Or in the back where it says, most health conditions can be addressed without knowing my, and then replace the word weight with saying vaccination status, right? When you focus on my vaccination status, I get stressed and it's not healthy. Vaccinating me every time I come in for an appointment And talking about my vaccination status like it's a problem perpetuates vaccination stigma, a known and serious health risk, right? Well, like this is the card that I want to hand to people, right? It's none of your damn business. Why is it so hard for people to understand that it's none of your damn business about my personal vaccination status? Though ironically, let me turn off screen share for a second. Ironically, next to my passport, I have one of these. International Certificate of Vaccination with my vaccines in it, right? Because I wasn't an anti-vaxxer until they changed the definition of what an anti-vaxxer is, right? So an anti-vaxxer today is someone that doesn't want a vaccine mandate, all right? You have one of these? We have 600 people watching. I bet you no more than 10 people in the live chat right now is holding one of these things. I mean, my name isn't in the front of it, it's inside. All right. But I tell you what, this whole thing has changed my view on vaccines. What's inside that card is none of your business. Or any restaurant owner. It's insane. It's insane. I had that card before the whole COVID thing broke out. My view on vaccines has completely changed. Completely changed. Now that I've actually spent a bunch of time doing vaccine research. My moderators are saying not that much in the chat. It's a private business. If you don't like it, don't go. No, that's the problem. In certain states, it's not up to the business to decide. Like, I'm okay with a private business choosing to ask for vaccination status versus another one choosing not to. But that's not what's happening, right? You can't cherry pick free market based on what you like and don't like, right? Can't cherry pick free market. So I'm okay with a business choosing to ask for vaccines. If the business next door to them can choose not to, that's not what's happening. So people are asking, my views have changed in early vaccinated at all. So most of the stamps in that card are like vaccines and boosters that I've done more recently. And yeah, I would not have done any of them. I would not have done any of them. That's correct. I would not have done it. All right, guys. I think there was enough distraction away from trading. Anything good in the live chat? Yeah, I do believe that Bitcoin will hit 100K in Q1. You can see that in my chart right here, or come close to it, like 80, 90. I'm still bullish into Q1, guys. I really am. Still bullish into Q1. Yeah, I do. I really think these lockdowns are gonna have to end. I mean, people are gonna start getting violent. People are gonna start getting violent. I mean, again, I go back to this. I go back to my last tweet. You just added 100 million people into poverty in 2020, maybe another 100 million in 2021. Now you're going to add another 100 million in 2020. That's the population of the United States. These people have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. If you had a livelihood and now you don't, and there was another 300 million people alongside you, it's gonna get violent. It's gonna get violent. This is not because of the pandemic. This is because of lockdowns. They can't keep doing that. They can't keep doing that. I mean, Klaus Schwab's economic forum is likely to be canceled this year. Where's that poll? The World Economic Forum, the Davos event, is likely to be canceled. It's not being canceled because of the pandemic. I mean, we all know the elites don't care. They go to their parties, they don't wear masks. The servants wear the masks, not the politicians, not the CEOs. None of those guys wear masks, right? They don't care. They don't care about the virus, clearly. That's irrelevant. So they don't care about the virus. And it's going to get canceled because they're getting death threats. They're getting death threats. And they're probably like legitimate. They're legitimate because people are pissed. People are pissed because these people did this. That's why people are pissed. Okay? That's why the event's going to be canceled. They can't keep locking people down. If it was possible to create a one world government, the Romans and the ancient Greeks and the British would have maintained it. They can't. They just can't. Freedom will find a way to win, no matter how technology advances. All right, guys. Since there's not any questions on price and stuff, check out the events, March 3 to 6th. I'm thinking of starting a channel talking this kind of stuff on Rumble and maybe BitChute, because I don't want this channel to be banned. And I like having only one stream on price, but this politics stuff is just like most of my day now is spent researching this politics and COVID and not crypto. Like crypto is not interesting. It's not interesting. It's Bitcoin and shit. Bitcoin and shitcoins. That's it. Not that interesting. Anyway, we're gonna call it a day. Yeah, half of the parliament of every European country is a World Economic Forum member. Klaus Schwab controls 60 to 70% of all the politicians. They just do what he says. That's reality. That's reality. Bill Gates controls your health institutions because of his funding, but Klaus Schwab controls the politicians. He just tells them what to do. People come here for TA and not politics. Yeah, but I already did the TA. Like, how much more TA you want me to do? I do the TA first, right? And then you stay for the politics if you like. I mean, you don't have to stick around. Though my live stream numbers are going up right now, my live viewers. The TA is done. Like, I already did the TA. Like, nothing's changed from 15 minutes ago. Like, we just made a new swing low on the hourly chart. 9 minutes to go. That's a horrible looking candle. It's going to close at a new low. It made a new swing low. Like, what other TA can I do? Oh, it topped right there on the MRI. The bounce didn't happen. That's unfortunate. Tesla is hanging in there. Amazon, I'm bet you, is doing. I'm surprised Amazon ain't doing very good. Guess Christmas shopping didn't work out all that well. Wow. Mom and pop stores are opening back up again. Surprised Amazon ain't doing that good. Apple was doing good. Let's see how they're doing now. Yeah, see, Apple hit an MRI top on the daily and I believe the weekly. Yeah, look at that. And maybe even the monthly. Or no. No, not the monthly. So look at Apple, perfect top, weekly and daily. It ran its course. And now it's going back up to the all-time high. So obviously I'm going to be bullish on Apple. How's Facebook doing? It's getting back up there. It's got a major level of resistance coming up. Anyway, this video is lasting too long. Well, here's the thing, right? If DeSantis runs for president and doesn't win, then Florida's lost. I almost rather have DeSantis, join like the governors near him. I don't know, Georgia is a little too blue, but Florida, Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Kansas, they can all like band together. South Carolina, maybe North Carolina, Tennessee, definitely. They can all like come together and form their own country and make DeSantis the president of that country. That would be a better move for DeSantis. The world too. Common law is the law of the land. No, it's not. No one respects that law. It's written, it should be, but it's not. No one cares. Yeah, the Constitution, the Constitutional Bill of Rights, the federal government should have almost no say in almost anything. The states should be completely independent to make their own laws. If Texas wants to ban abortion, Texas will ban abortion. If California wants to allow abortion up to 3 days before a child is born, California can do that, right? Like, it should be up to the states. And then people can choose where they want to live. Texas didn't technically ban abortion. They limited it to 6 weeks. My opinion on that is irrelevant. Whether I think that's right or not, it's completely irrelevant, my opinion on that subject. But yeah, states should have a lot more power than they do. States have almost no power. Federal government decides everything. Odyssey has a scam coin. That's why I'm not interested in that platform. All right, guys. We're going to leave it here. Hey, now you can see my background. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.